Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Emma and today I am starting a weekly reading vlog. Although I've posted reading vlogs on my channel in the past, they've always been either specific to a readathon or dedicated to one specific book. So I thought it would be great that while I'm on break from school and before my summer classes start, I would use those 3 weeks to film weekly reading vlogs. I thought this was going to be a good idea, but it is 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday and I'm only just starting this vlog. I have been filming this week, so I will show you that footage in a minute, but this just apparently was my only free time to start. So the physical book that I started on Monday is People Kill People by Ellen Hopkins. This is a book about gun violence. From what I can tell, it's partially written in verse and then the other half is in second person perspective, so it's a pretty unconventional book for YA. This is gonna sound like super dramatic, but I just sort of feel like this book has been like calling to me from my shelves over the last few days. I've been like a big mood reader lately and I haven't had anything that I feel I need to read, but every time I pass over and like see what I want to pick up next, I consider People Kill People, so I was like, it's finally time. I started it Monday at work on my lunch break. I haven't actually been reading a lot at work recently because I've been trying to stay really focused, which ends up with me waiting until I get home to eat lunch. But I decided I wanted to take some time and like sit in the kitchen and start this new book, and it turned out to be like so intoxicating from the get-go. The night before, when I took People Kill People off my shelves to put it in my bag, I just like opened up because I was like, I think this book is in verse, but I want to check. And when I realized it was, my initial reaction was like, yes. Which is so weird because like I do not read poetry, I do not like poetry, but I was very excited at the prospect of this book being in verse because it felt like something that I would read very quickly and it's a topic I'm really interested about. On my lunch break, I probably read like the first 30 pages, which kind of felt like the prologue because I stopped right before I met the characters that are the protagonists of this story, but I was blown away like the moment I started. The word that's really coming to me about People Kill People is clever. I just feel like everything about this book is really witty and not in like a snappy humorous way, but the structure is just like really well thought out and I love it. And then yesterday was Tuesday and I didn't do a ton of reading during the day, but I went into the city for the launch party of Nexus, which is Sasha and Lindsay's new book, which is the sequel to Zenith, and I was moderating their book signing at the Strand. Appreciate about commuting into the city is that the train ride for me is just a perfect time to get some reading done. So I actually read some more and now I'm on page 86. And honestly, I just have nothing but good things to say about this book at this point. It is just so profound and thought-provoking. And while I knew that this is going to be like a very powerful book because it's very timely with our social climate, but I just didn't expect the combination of this really sophisticated writing and super poignant subject matter to just be incredible. I've never read an Ellen Hopkins book before, but I am just like rendered speechless every time I pick it up, and it's so good. All I want to do is just finish reading. Like, Monday was my last day of class for the semester, and I was like, I just want to skip and stay home and read this book in one sitting. It is 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm tired and have a super early day tomorrow, so I'm not going to be reading any more of this tonight, but I am listening to an audiobook, which I will be continuing, and that is King of Fools by Amanda Foody, which is the sequel to Ace of Shades. If you have not heard me talk about Ace of Shades in the past, it is a fantastical 19th century inspired Atlantic City setting. The setting is so unique and great, but I just never know the right way to describe it. But it follows this girl from finishing school named N, who travels to the scandalous city of Sin in search of her mother, who has gone missing, and her only lead is one of the youngest crime lords in the city. So they make a deal where N will pay him because he needs money in order to find her mother. Ace of Shades was one of my favorite books of last year. I really love this story, this world, and this magic system, and especially the characters. So I've been very, very excited for one of my most anticipated of the year, and so far it is not disappointing. I am currently 6 hours into the audiobook roughly, so I'm like a third of the way through. I did struggle to stay engaged a bit in the beginning, so to compensate for that, I've been going back, rewinding, and like even re-listening to full chapters multiple times in order to make sure I'm really grasping all of the information before moving forward. That might bug some people, but I feel so much better knowing that like I'm confident in what I'm retaining, so it's been fine. And like I reached a point where all of that is over, and the second I start listening to the audiobook, I do not want to stop, so it all worked out in the end. But yeah, I'm just having such a great time reading King of Fools. I've loved getting to see the characterization develop, not only in terms of individual growth, but also watching the relationships deepen. I haven't seen as much magic as I would like to yet, and I'm getting antsy for it because like I am just so obsessed with the way that magic is organized in this story, and I want to see more of it. But overall, it is just so great so far. I have no real complaints about it. I just think Amanda Foody is so talented, and I'm so excited to be reading her newest release. So yeah, I've got 2 awesome books on my TBR this week that I'm really enjoying, and I'm excited to take you guys along for the ride with me. If I keep going at this rate, I probably will finish them, and maybe we'll get some more books to start at the end of the week. So I'm going to finish getting ready for bed and then listen to my audiobook while I fall asleep, which is something I've been doing recently, and it has been super, super nice to end my night with a nice little storytelling moment. But I will definitely check in with you guys sometimes tomorrow morning, and I will update you guys again on the progress that I've made.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. So I will give you guys like a full reading update on today once I decide to put this baby down. But like I just had to stop and say that like this might be an unexpected favorite of the year already. I feel like the story hasn't even really started. Like the character introductions are divided into sort of like little chapters, and I'm pretty sure I'm only on the last character introduction. So most of it has just been set up, but it is so profound and deep, and my mind is just like screaming every moment I read this book. It's fantastic. I'm not gonna make any promises, but I just am feeling a really deep connection to this book right now. I'm loving it, and I really think it's something that's gonna stick with me for a long time. So I'm going to finish doing some more reading, and I will check back in later to talk about more specifics.
What's up? I'm eating tacos. I have like 5 minutes before I have to leave, but I figured I'd update you guys so that I actually am vlogging in time and not just like super late on everything. In People Kill People, I am 130 pages in now, which I'm making some pretty decent progress. It is just such a quick read and I'm flying through it. I didn't know much about People Kill People going in, so I feel like I didn't go in with any expectations whatsoever, but I just did not anticipate how deep and intense this conversation would really be. Like, I've read a book or two about like school shootings and stuff, but this just goes into such a deep social commentary about gun violence, and I'm just blown away with absolutely every page. It is just so incredibly thorough with the different topics it approaches. As I said before, it's written in second person, and so one of the first chapters, the last line is, white nationalism is not her cup of tea, but it is yours. And I was just like, what did I pick up? Yeah, so there's a lot of discussion about white supremacy, racism, abuse, suicide, law enforcement. I'm really,
really speechless at this book, and it is so fantastic so far. Where I am at the story, I just finished getting introduced to all of the characters, and it's going to, I feel, propel more along the plot now. But the way that this book is framed is like one of these characters, one of the 6, is going to shoot a gun and one of the 6 is going to die. As for King of Fools, I'm also really loving it. I got a nice chunk of reading done while I was getting ready this morning. I think I'm like 7.5 hours in now. I would have gotten like an extra 1.5 hours of listening done today, but on my drive to therapy, my mind was just taken up fantasizing about this book idea that I've been thinking about for years that I'm never going to write. And on the way home, I was running out of gas and I was like really afraid that my car was gonna crap out on the side of the highway. So that stressed me out and I couldn't focus on listening to my audiobook. I'm actually heading all the way back to therapy, which is like a 45-minute drive one way for me. So I will be getting more listening done for King of Fools. Right now, I would say I think I prefer Ace of Shades, but I'm still really loving King of Fools, particularly because it is so political. I don't know who I've become, but give me like a really intense political system with lots of conflict and I am just sold for the rest of the book. The Shadow Game series has to do with like casino families, the mafia, mob dons and donnas, and so there's an election going on, so there's just so many things going on at once, and like I have no idea how all of this is going to be resolved. I am loving the new characters we've been introduced to, and I feel like there has just been such growth for a lot of the other characters from the first installment. I don't like Levi as much, and that's like upsetting me because I loved Levi so much in the first book. He's just causing a lot of problems. I feel like he's not thinking before he does things, and this is a character trait he had in the first book as well, but it's been really pissing me off this time. Levi, get your shit together. Overall though, I am having so much fun with King of Fools. I'm super excited to be back in this world, and like it hasn't dawned on me yet that like there's no 3rd installment. This is the last book and I'm not okay with that. I also just came off of a super high intensity scene and we had some character conflict at the end of it, which I wouldn't say that like my heart loves, but the critical reader in me is like, oh, like I'm really enjoying how the story is moving forward. I'm gonna be late to therapy, so I'm gonna finish this taco and go. Thursday, and today has not gone as planned. So to recap, yesterday was bgno, aka Big Gay Night Out.
Big Gay Night Out, you know, me and the lads.
Many of you may already know my friend Natalia, but her and her friend group sometimes go to this gay bar in Brooklyn, and it was my first time going and I had so much fun. Lots of drinks, lots of ladies, and lots of fun. But as a result, that makes 4 nights in a row where I've basically slept from past 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. So my body was just like, no today. I had work this morning, so I listened to King of Fools while I was getting ready and doing my morning tasks, so that was enjoyable. I came home, ate some lunch, read some more of People Kill People, so I'm like on page 180 there now. Not a ton of new thoughts on either of those books, except for the fact that I really appreciate how in People Kill People, it is not strictly about gun violence. There's lots of other forms of violence discussed in this book. But after lunch, I was planning on taking like a short 30-minute nap. You can see where this is going. But that 30-minute nap turned into a 4.5-hour nap. I never nap. Like, I literally nap like once every 4 to 6 months, and like this is exactly why. I ended up sleeping through my dance class for the first time in my life. Like, I literally never ever do this. And I also was supposed to go to my college today in order to hand in some paperwork, but that didn't happen either. I had plans for a very productive day that was gonna involve quite a bit of reading, and the cards are no longer on the table. But I guess the silver lining is, since I missed 2 of the most important tasks I had today, I can do whatever I want for the rest of the night. So right now I'm gonna get a little bit of cleaning done while listening to King of Fools. I have to like put some laundry away and vacuum my floor. Don't exactly know what I'm going to do after that, but I do plan on returning to People Kill People tonight, so I'll keep you guys updated. This reading vlog isn't going as planned. I got into a car accident today. I am fine. The kid that hit me is fine. My car is not fine. R.I.P. Jensen. I'm kidding. My car is fine too. It's in the shop. Insurance is gonna pay for it. Insurance is gonna pay for my rental car. It's all fine. You know I'm an empathetic bitch when I'm seriously more concerned about the kid in high school that hit me and had his car totaled and has to deal with all of this insurance crap now on than myself. Right now I am currently heading into this city, which I'm going to hang out with Cindy from Read with Cindy, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll probably continue this update on the train. Sorry, I'm not trying to be dramatic by wearing sunglasses inside, but it's just so sunny out. So currently I am 11.5 hours into King of Fools. I've got like six hours to go, so I'm like 2/3 of the way done. I'm really loving it. It is definitely tittering between like a 4-star and a 4.5 star now. I'm just so impressed by all the politics. Really, like, it would insult me if someone were to say this was like an immature YA novel, just because all of the layers to this current election and the mafia dynamics is just incredible. Amanda Foodie has totally blown me away. Not like I'm surprised, because I'm literally her biggest fan. The characters have grown so much just in this story, like way more since Ace of Shades, but just in this story alone there's been so much development, and it's just so clever and resourceful and determined, and she's genuinely one of my favorite YA characters of all time now, I think. Like, I love where she's going, and I'm so upset that I have to say goodbye to her in like such a short amount of time. I'm definitely less mad at Levi. Like, I know Levi has always been written to be a flawed character. He's not supposed to be perfect, and the mistakes and deliberate choices that he makes, I feel, are integral to his characters, because the consequences are what really shapes him. So how that is playing into King of Fools is making more sense to me, and it's less irritating, which is great. Him and N have been really distant throughout this whole novel, and one of my biggest pet peeves for sequels specifically is when the main couple is like being apart for a good reason, but it's just adding a lot of unnecessary and not fun tension. Some of it has been really great, and it's the exact kind of conflict you want to read about, but other parts I've just been like, this is dumb. But they've been rekindling a little bit, and I can feel it getting better as the story progresses, so I'm excited to see where their relationship ends up. And at this point I've also been enjoying Jack's chapters more. His have definitely been my least favorite throughout King of Fools. He was like the new perspective introduced, and I haven't been caring for him as much, even though his storyline is really integral to this plot. His storyline with substance abuse has been a really nice surprise. It's a topic I love reading about, especially in fantasy, where like more mental health issues aren't typically approached. I think him and his love interest are super cute, and I just want them to be happy together for the rest of their lives. And along with characters, I've also been enjoying the secondary characters that have been introduced in the second installment. So like Grace and Sophia are just adding so much to the story. I feel like I definitely talked about this already. Nonetheless, love them all. Like, the cast of the Shadow Game series is just so incredible, and I really want more people to experience them. Also, Bianca. I feel like I forgot how great of a villain Bianca really is. Oh my goodness, she is just the type of villain to make your skin crawl, because she's evil in the most human ways. It's so easy for a fantasy villain to do bad things because they have magical powers, and while Bianca also has some really dangerous abilities, everything she does is more an act of her true genuine cruelty. I really forgot how great she is. Like, we got to see more of her in King of Fools, so we're just getting like a little bit of softness to her, and we're thinking like, oh, maybe she's getting like a redemption arc kind of, and then Amanda Foodie snatches all that away and is like, nope, she's still fucking horrible. It's just so good and impressive, and I'm having a great time. I'm hoping to really finish it, probably not tomorrow, but definitely by the end of this reading vlog I will hopefully have King of Fools done.
So right now I'm out to dinner with Cindy from Read with Cindy.
I'm so embarrassed right now because we look like the worst YouTubers.
Listen, I'm embracing it. We're at Napori, we're having some ramen and some octopus balls, and it is all super delicious. And we're talking about books and booktube and having a great time.
I feel like with this reading vlog, I'm giving off the impression that I have like this super exciting life where I'm like out super late doing fun things with my friends like every night of the week, but like this is quite the anomaly for me. But yeah, I had a super fun night with Cindy. We got dinner, we went to the Strand, we got milkshakes, and we filmed a collab that will hopefully be on her channel sometime soon, so keep an eye out for that. I did not read anything new, but I am making a plan to read a ton tomorrow, so we will definitely see how that goes. I have not made any more reading progress, but I am planning on reading a ton tomorrow because I feel like I've been a little bit behind on how much I've planned to read this week because I've just been doing so much and getting home so late that I haven't had the opportunity to read as much. I'm gonna read 100 pages tomorrow, which honestly like isn't a lot, and I definitely think I can do it, but I'm going to say it in my vlog, so I'm going to be held accountable for doing it. But between work and the gym and after work and stuff, like I am determined to read another 100 pages at least tomorrow, so hopefully I will be able to complete that goal, but I will check in tomorrow. Or technically today because it's 3 in the morning. So it is Saturday morning. I am at work and I'm about to start reading People Kill People for the day. Upon further reflection this morning, I realized that 100 pages of this book is gonna be really easy. I didn't take into account that a significant number of the pages look like this. So I'm going to raise my goal today to go to page like 330. That's what I'm going to accomplish by midnight tonight. It's only 9:45 and I've already got like a good chunk of my mini tasks for today. So I'm going to relax and eat some breakfast. I have my orange juice, I have some strawberry yogurt, and a delicious Long Island bagel. Oh my god, I cannot believe I forgot to tell you guys what happened this morning. This vlog is equal parts fun and disastrous. Basically, this morning I was listening to King of Fools and I was like very excited to get a ton of reading done before I got to work today. So I was preparing my lunch to take today and I literally started a fire on my stove. Like, I'm not kidding you, like a huge fire burst up, scorched my cabinet and ceiling. I really can't cook. Everything was fine, like it literally went out on its own once I removed it from the heat, so like all is okay. Definitely disrupted my morning on top of not having a car though. But in total, I did get an hour of listening done and like we just ended off on a really juicy sex scene. So like I'm excited to hopefully listen to that a little bit more at work today as well if I can. So right now it is 2 o'clock. I've had a pretty productive work day so far. I've pretty much completed my entire to-do list before 2 p.m. which is very exciting. So now I can really spend the last 3 hours of my work day doing personal stuff unless the phone rings. And it's actually my mother
Hi Mom. I did make a lot of progress reading during breakfast. I am now on page 256, so I read 60 pages this morning. I told you that 100 pages was going to be too easy with me for this book. One little revelation I had this morning while reading is on the back, I've mentioned this before, it says someone will shoot and someone will die. And up until this point in the story, I've been sort of interpreting that as one of our main characters is going to use a gun to shoot another person. But I've realized that, you know, based on the experiences that have happened in this book related to gun violence, that probably isn't the case anymore. And I'm actually realizing that both of these are most likely going to be two separate circumstances. I feel like the most intense ending is that one of the main characters is going to be shot and the other one is going to shoot someone else. But I think that they're going to be like more strangers involved, or like maybe a victim shooting their abuser. Like I feel like it's much more complex than I initially realized, and that makes me very interested to see where things are going to go from here. Overall though, it is so good. Like I actually hopped onto Goodreads this morning and I was reading a few reviews, which I like to do sometimes, like in the middle of books or when I finish them. I'm really curious to hear people's thoughts. But reading like even like 3 and 2-star reviews of People Kill People, I was just like, I don't get it. Obviously everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but I just feel like this book is so objectively well written that all of the critiques I was hearing about it, I was just like, no, you're wrong. I am feeling some type of way about People Kill People, so I'm very excited to continue. You know, I just love the fact that I'm basically treating myself for almost burning my house down this morning because I didn't have enough time to make lunch for myself. But I got this sesame chicken lunch box and I'm very excited to eat it because Asian food is probably one of my favorites. And read more of People Kill People. You know, I feel like every single time I've actually done reading in this vlog, I've been eating, and that's pretty indicative of my reading routine nowadays. I just feel like when I'm eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner, like as long as I'm not on the go, I have absolutely no excuse not to read, because what am I doing? I'm just sitting staring at my plate. So reading while eating is definitely like number one, my most reliable method to read in, and it includes food, so fuck yeah. Very tired as per usual. So after work today, I went to the gym. I got some reading done. I am on page 334, which means that I finished my reading goal for today. I actually really liked the idea of like setting a page goal for myself sometimes, so that's definitely something I plan on doing more in reading vlogs to come. So I have roughly 100 pages left, and still I have nothing but good things to say. I think one of the most compelling aspects is that it really highlights how everyone has the capability for violence. For each character, it will highlight a specific thought about violence that is just very casual and seemingly innocent, and it is the buildup of many of these thoughts over time that cause people to create violence. So I just think it is really well rounded in how it talks about humans and their capability for violence. I am definitely interested to see where things go from here, and my goal for tomorrow is definitely to finish this book, which I think is totally possible for me. And with King of Fools, I probably listened to about another hour while I was in the shower after the gym. I don't have a ton of updates. I feel like I gave you a really good one on the train yesterday, but I can tell that the climax is approaching, things are really building up, and just everything is about to explode. So I'm sure by the end of tomorrow I will have a ton of things to say. The one thing that I do wish the Shadow Game series had is like an encyclopedia in the back of the book that I could go back and refer to. If you're watching this and you're unfamiliar with the Shadow Game series, essentially every character has 2 talents, so that alone is just a lot to remember for the many characters in this book. And then when you get into the political structure of the world, there are like so many different main groups. Like there's the misers and the monarchists and the First Party. Then you have the different casino families like the Torrens and the Augustines, which are really playing into the election going on in the story. And then on top of that, you have all these different gangs in New Reigns who have their own individual attributes and their things that they control. And it is a lot. It's so fantastic, but it's a lot. So I really wish the books had like a list of all the characters and their powers, and then like a summary of all of the major groups of the story that I could just keep referring to when I'm like, huh, wait, who was that again? But it's not a big deal. Like, I might find myself a little confused at some points, but given a little bit more context, I can usually figure it out. So I would love to say that I would be reading more tonight, but because I did complete my goal for today, which was a lot of pages, I'm gonna give myself a little break, especially because I was already asleep tonight. I fell asleep and woke up and I was like, God has given me a second chance to add to this vlog today. So I had to give you guys an update, but I'm very interested in going to bed before work tomorrow. I have some rain sounds playing in the background, and I'm gonna listen to a little bit more of Ace of Shades as I fall asleep in the dark tonight, which I always really enjoy. And then tomorrow I'll listen to King of Fools more, and I'll hopefully finish both books. How great would that be? But yes, tomorrow is the last day of this reading vlog, and then I will be starting again on Monday for my next reading vlog for this little thing I'm doing in May.
Good morning. It is a rainy Sunday, and it is also Mother's Day. I unfortunately can't spend the day with my mom because I have to work 9 to 5, but I am super excited for a very quiet day at work. No one's gonna come in, no one's gonna call. It's gonna be great, so I'm gonna be able to get a decent amount of reading done. As I said, I have about 100 pages left in People Kill People, and I'm super confident I'll be able to finish it today. So I actually just had to stop and upload the footage to my computer to make some space on my camera. So I did get to eat breakfast this morning. I had some Dunkin', you know, Ho loves Dunkin'. I did read more, so I'm currently on page 361 of People Kill People, and I feel like I just stopped at like such a good point. I feel like a necessary conversation around this book is the inclusion of these two white nationalist characters, and if reading from this perspective, does that mean that we are compliant in this behavior, or as we are getting to know them more and they are getting more layers, do we begin to sympathize with them? Personally, I think that Ellen Hopkins has done a really great job of steering away from that type of narrative and more just providing insight on what it is like to be one of these people. I think the inclusion of these perspectives really added to the story, because not only are we reading about gun violence from the perspective of people who don't agree with it or might be a little bit more swayed by the discussion, whereas we have two people that are super pro-guns and pro-violence. I think a critical eye is crucial for reading a book like this, and you really need to be conscious of the material you're consuming and the implications of reading it. But I think it's been handled really well, and I would be super interested to hear the perspectives of anyone who has read this book, what they thought of how it's all handled. But there is another character in this book that is having like a massive shift from where they started out in the beginning. I really liked them at the start, and based on how we are seeing them react to the world and how their circumstances are influencing their thoughts and behaviors, I'm getting real concerned. It's been a very natural progression to this darker state of being for this character, and I just feel like the storyline of them becoming more enticed by violence and anger and all of this has been really intriguing, but I'm definitely worried for how things are going to pan out in the end. A thing just happened and it was so unexpected, but I'm still kind of processing it and I'm still reading, but I just had to take a moment to talk about it, and I just feel like it is the most perfect way for this story to go. Now I have to go back to reading. You want to know what I just like love doing? You know, I just really love having 10 pages left in a book and deciding that this is the perfect moment for me to sit on Twitter. Okay, I still haven't read those last 10 pages, but look, there's an ad for the panel I'm on at BookCon. Sunday, choice stage, 3 p.m, be there. So it is the end of my first May reading vlog. Don't worry, I'm gonna be back talking to you guys, starting another vlog in like 13 hours. It's like we're hanging out for 3 weeks straight together. I love it. At work today, I did finish People Kill People. I finally got around to those last 10 pages. I feel like I'm really exhausted, like all I have to say on this book. I feel like I've hit everything I want to say about it. 5 stars, absolutely. I just fell head over heels in love with this book. The poetry was profound and the social commentary was so well-rounded. If there's really anything for me to complain about with this story, I feel like while I was interested by a lot of the characters, none of them really stuck with me individually. I was more focused on their storylines and the overall plot of the novel compared to like their individual attributes. It's genuinely hard for me to find like a strong flaw about this book. I just think overall it was so well-rounded and I really enjoyed my time reading it. I have not finished King of Fools yet, so I will give you my final thoughts on it in the next reading vlog, but I'm really hopeful that I can finish it tomorrow. I did actually get to start a little bit of a new book today. I chose my next physical read and I'm going to be talking way more about it in my following reading vlog, but it is The List by Patricia Ford. You might have also heard of this book under the title Wordsmith in different countries. So this book is a sort of futuristic, almost dystopian middle grade novel. It takes place in a city called Ark, which has survived after many natural disasters. But the most notable thing about Ark is that citizens are restricted to using only 500 words in order to communicate with each other, and that list just keeps getting shorter. Unlike the rest of Ark, the wordsmith is a person who knows all words, goes out seeking for more words, and has to edit the list based on what the government demands. So our main character's name is Letta and she is the apprentice to the wordsmith. One day the wordsmith goes missing and Letta has to choose between watching language disappear or fighting for freedom. I don't want to talk too much about this book at the end because I feel like it's better suited for the start of tomorrow's vlog, and because I have like a fairly weird long history with this book. So I'm excited to discuss more about it, but as a sneak peek, you have definitely heard me talk about this book on my channel before, yet I have never finished it. I'm only 15 pages into it because I started and stopped while I was waiting to pick up food for my mom and I. All I'm gonna say is I thoroughly enjoyed those first 15 pages, and you'll have to check in for next week's vlog to see what I really feel about it. But that concludes this reading vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I am extremely excited to spend the next 2 weeks filming more reading vlogs like this and just giving you my in the moment reactions. Plus I promise to start this vlog and continue vlogging on time. In the comments below, let me know your thoughts on what you read this week, or if you have any opinions on the books that I read. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!